Last time, on return to Dolban, we last left our heroes on the hunt for the dastardly Vakooja. They had a few leads, but would need some disguises. Our heroes went to Central Market to Gorgars for some new disguises before moving on to Noble. As they walked around, Barry searched for a drink. A homeless Minotaur was selling something called tar milk. Barry drank it against Brevik's warnings and proceeded to vomit everywhere. They interrogated one of the local Minotaurs and they indicated that they saw him go into a house near the corner. After they entered the house, they were ambushed by venerated Chalice cultists. Conceicius was injured by their sneak attacks until Chim Thunder stepped out with him, injuring the enemies. As they continued to attack our heroes, the tide turned and the cultists began to flee. As they fled, one of them conjured a ghost steed and another struck down Conceicius with a magic missile. Brevik finished off two of the others and ran after Hordor as he fled. As he left, looters descended on the bodies, including Conceicius. After being healed, Conceicius was pissed and got into an argument that turned fatal with a turtle looter, who took some of his gold. After dealing with the situation, they went to Brevik's old house where his mother, Momvik, made them soup. Brevik contacted Gorgas and told him to bring in Hordor for interrogation. Hordor explained that he had laid the ambush after being coursed by the cultists. Gorgas was confused at Vakooja's involvement, as he had only known her to be primarily a smuggler. He told the gang that she frequented the Crowned Hare, a tavern in Sanditon. Showdown in Sanditon. The gang traveled to Sanditon in search of the Crowned Hare. When they got to town, Badface pulled an animal out of his bag and a full-size dire wolf popped out. He named it Mudflap. They arrived at the tavern and did some scouting. Barry got in and scoped the place out, but got fixated on the attractive elf bard playing the guitar. He bought himself a couple of beers. Brevik sought information from the Minotaur cook, and Tim ordered some drinks for the armed guards that looked to be manic, only for them to chug the drinks without even giving him a glance. Brevik cast Detect Magic and noticed a few people were magical, as Tim chatted up a gnome trader. As they were making a plan, Barry took two expensive shots he bought, and the second one caused him to vomit fire on some of the guards, starting a brawl. Badface swung at the manic and Elvain foes with his Mace of Terror as he tried to get Mudflap to come inside and help. The ensuing brawl sent many of the patrons and the guards to the exit, only to find a massive dire wolf struggling to get through the door. Cloaked in illusions, the venerated Chalice cultists, along with Vakooja, attacked the team. The manic cohorts joined them against our heroes. A tough battle ensued that saw the gang gain an edge when Brevik threw Sunforger at his feet in sacrifice. After a back-and-forth slog that knocked out Vakooja, Badface and Barry finished off the manic lieutenant, Kuvar. As the dust settled, they investigated their fallen foes and stayed back to talk to ULF authorities about the incident. Prior to their arrival, Badface snuck out with Vakooja so they could interrogate her back at their headquarters in Levertown. A widening plot. The gang returned to their base in Levertown to interrogate Vakooja. Despite the zone of truth and the light torture, she was tight-lipped about her plans. However, Tim did skim some insights using Detect Thoughts. The gang learned that she was concerned about the plan being messed up, that Castle Hobnob might be why, that it concerned White Knock, Levitra, Willowton, and Glavnigrad. That Blister was an obstacle, and that an individual she was picturing was in danger. She once again refused to answer any questions and said that it was all for the glory of Andrea Gilmadrith. After some debate, they decided they were done, and Badface told his dire wolf Mudflap to eat her? They hesitated on what to do next, and after sending a tweet to Blister, decided that they would go check up on him. The last song of the Blitzkrieg. They arrived at the Blitzkrieg and immediately saw chaos. Doors smashed in, small fires burning, and an absolute melee inside. We see cultists, patrons, Blitzkrieg guards, and staff, all a mixture of fighting, fleeing, or dead on the ground. The gang recognized Blister, Kala, Tolgog, Narith, and Karthok in the back fighting against Manalith, the cultist leader they saw in Blister's office. Chim cast a fireball into a bunch of cultists as another group took down Kala. Narith banished one of the cultists, and Mudflap jumped into the fray. While hitting a cultist in the head with his echo bolt, Chim winced as he received another conspiracy vision. Brevik and Bad Face were frightened from a psychic assault, leaving Manalith open to finish off Tolgog. The combined group finally took down Manalith in time for Brevik to raise Tolgog, who thanked him profusely. As the dust settled, the gang couldn't help but wonder what Blister knew about Vakooja and the ongoing cultist plot.